I'm Ryan from ExtremeTerrain.com, and this is my review of the Rough Country Performance 2.2 steering stabilizer fitting all 1987 to 2006 Wranglers. Today we're going to talk through the installation of this steering stabilizer, which is a very simple 1 out of 3 wrenches. You're going to be able to get this installed in about an hour in your driveway, and this will bolt directly in place of your factory steering stabilizer. We're also going to talk about the construction and a few of the features of the stabilizer. This steering stabilizer is for those of you who have a bent, broken, or leaking steering stabilizer and want to replace it with a factory style one. Now, if you have a properly set up suspension, a steering stabilizer is a luxury and not a necessity. That is to say, if you have big tires on your Jeep, you have a lift, there's no need to upgrade or otherwise change your steering stabilizer. The only time you need to swap this out is if it's broken, bent, or leaking. If you do have a wobble, a death wobble, if you have bump steer, if you have any of those other issues with your suspension on your Jeep, there are ways to diagnose and fix those problems, and a steering stabilizer is not one of them. If you do get a new steering stabilizer, sometimes it'll cover up a wobble for a short period of time, but you're just going to end up blowing up your new steering stabilizer and still having the same issue. So fix any root issues, then purchase a new steering stabilizer if yours is broken, but this is not to be used as a band-aid for a poorly put together or poorly performing suspension system. So that being said, I think this is an appropriately priced quality steering stabilizer that will work for what most of us need it to do, which is just to replace that OE steering stabilizer. As far as construction goes, all a steering stabilizer is a 50-50 valved hydraulic shock. Now, there are some nitrogen-charged steering stabilizers, but I would stay away from those because they can actually push the Jeep in one direction or another, almost making you feel like you have a poor alignment. So that's all that this is. It's a hydraulic shock that's 50-50 valve designed to bolt directly in place of your factory steering stabilizer. And when you do hit a bump, it'll help to suck up a little bit of that feel that you might otherwise get transferred through the steering linkage and up into the steering wheel that you would then feel in your hands. This comes with all of the hardware that you need to get it installed, and overall, it is going to be a great option for what most of us need on their Jeep. So getting back to the installation, this is going to be a very simple 1 out of 3 wrench install, and you are going to be able to get this done in under an hour in your driveway with traditional hand tools. All you're going to need to do is unbolt your factory steering stabilizer and bolt this one into place. That's really all there is to it. This does come with some new hardware, so if your old hardware is rusty, you can replace it. And if you do have some rust, as always, it makes sense to spray those bolts with a good penetrating oil before you get started. But all in all, a very, very simple swap. You're going to be able to get this done with those traditional hand tools, again, in under an hour. There are steering stabilizers out there on the market that cost 3 times as much as this one does, and in my opinion, there's absolutely no reason to spend that much money. I also wouldn't get a steering stabilizer that only costs $15 because the seals aren't going to be quality and it'll start leaking on you. But I think a steering stabilizer that's priced right around where this one is, right around the $50 mark, is going to hold up well, it's going to perform its job, and it's not going to be overpriced. I think that this is, again, a very nice option for what most of us are using their Jeeps for. So if you have a broken, bent, or otherwise leaking steering stabilizer that you're looking to replace with an OE style steering stabilizer, this is going to be a great option that's appropriately priced and easy to install. So that's my review of the Rough Country Performance 2.2 steering stabilizer fitting all 1987 to 2006 Wranglers that you can find right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.